Hi, I'm Steve Boyko, and welcome to the September operating session on my layout. This operating session, I'll be running a total of 9 trains, written here in highly professional handwriting on my sheet of paper. So we're going to start with a couple CN trains, a couple CP trains. I'll run a VIA train for the first time on my layout, and then a couple more CN and CP trains to finish off the day. The first one up is CN 214, and 214 is a through train. See here, it's Melville to Winnipeg, 12 cars, doesn't make any stops, it just goes right through. So pretty straightforward train. Now I just want you to look at this. This is the old style train card with just a description of what the train does. The new style that I'll be using for other trains basically has a switch list incorporated into it. It looks like this, and you'll see that shortly on one of the trains. But first, CN214. So CN214 has engines 5542 and 5075. So I'll select them. 5542. Make sure the switch is aligned, and off it goes. So that's the intermodal train here, heading on its way. (5542) CN214 is approaching Georgetown. And now we're going back into staging, and then we'll move on to the next train. All right, with 214 safely put away, the next train is CN403. Here it is. Now 403 has got some work to do. As you can see on the list, it departs Winnipeg 6:30, has maximum 9 cars at the Georgetown CP interchange, and it has a car to set out, a CP car. And it has a lot of work to do at the Cargill elevator. You can see there's basically a few setouts and a bunch of pickups. So basically that's the work it has to do. And then once it's done that, it'll carry on to Melville, which is back into station. So we'll dial up 3665 because car cards say right here the lead loco is 3665. So select 3665, enter. There we go. My only sound locomotive. Notice the blue and white caboose on the end? That's from my previous layout, the Nova Scotia Eastern Railway. So here they are cruising around Laptop stand. That's the photo of my son who graduated from university and coming around into Georgetown. Remember, we have a set out here, so we're going to stop here and leave the train on the main line and just take the CP car here is the one that we're going to set out in the interchange. I'll put my big arm in the way here. All right, so it's been disconnected. We'll pull ahead till we're clear of the switch. Now the brakeman has thrown the switch, so it's okay to come back through and up to the interchange. I'll have to stop again there at the interchange to throw the switch again. And you're there. Now we can uncouple and set the handbrake, and then we can leave that and move on to Helene. So we've uncoupled. Pull ahead just a bit. Okay, then the brakeman will set the handbrake and then walk up to the head end so that they can ride and throw the switches back once the train goes through them. All right, now we're going to pull through the switch and the brakeman will line it back once the train goes through. And the train's just going to go all the way through while the brakeman lines and locks it, and then walks to the next one, lines and locks the main line switch. And then after that, the train will back onto the part that is left on the main line, this part right here, and hook up, and then they can continue on to Helene. Here they come back to couple up. So then the brakeman will hook up the air hoses and they're ready to go. No brake test required because nothing was broken in between the cars. They just took one car out. And from here they're ready to go on to Helene. So once the brakeman has reconnected the hoses and walked back to the head end, then they're ready to roll out. They're passing the Manitoba Pool grain elevator, which is going to get some cars spotted later on in the day. So here we are in the back of the layout, in behind the where the magic happens, I guess. So they're approaching the switch to Helene. They have to go by it and then back in. But we're going to stop here and detach everything after the first three cars because they're not going into Helene. So we're going to stop here and unhook the rest of them and leave them on the main line. Now we're doing this because we know that there's no other trains. Probably the better thing to do would be to leave them back in Georgetown and get them afterwards. But that requires extra train orders to go the wrong way. So we're not going to do that. Just going to unhook them here if I can actually get them to unhook. There we go. All right. Now we can pull ahead and then back in. Now currently I have to reach over the backdrop to throw the switch here. There is a neat little device that I purchased that I have not installed yet. Here it is right here. Simple switch machine. This is by PDC, Precision Design, and you can see there pdc.ca at the bottom, and it's basically a little machine that you can rig up with a throw arm so that you can throw it from the fascia in front of the layout rather than reaching over like I do. I've seen it in action on Bill's layout, Bill Brillinger. It works really well, but I just haven't gotten around to implementing it yet. So for now, I'm going to throw it by hand. There we go. And back up. And through the switch. Back onto the layout. Okay, so we're backing up into the Cargill facility. So all we have to do basically is drop these cars off and then pick up the outgoing cars, and we should be ready to go. So line the switch and back we go. Got to uncouple here, and then we can pull forward, couple onto the others. Okay, forward. And this time maybe I'll remember to blow for the crossing. You hear the brakeman will get down, throw the switch, secure the lock, and back onto the train. Good. Couple up the brake hoses. Now at this point, I've talked to a few people, and what I understand is normally a modern grain elevator will already have the cars checked out, coupled up, and I know CN provides an incentive to have the cars already charged with air and just basically ready to go, so that CN can just hook up, couple up the air hose to the lead car, and away they go. So that is what I'm assuming here, because this is a modern grain elevator, a big concrete one. So we'll assume that. So we're ready to roll, and off we go. Good thing that North American truck is waiting for us. So we're going to go back in behind the scenery and couple onto the train that we left on the main line. The only other thing that we really should do here is set a derail. I don't have any derails installed, but the derail would normally be set so that no cars can roll onto the CN main line. The other thing to do in this transitional era where I'm still using car cards, even though I have switch lists, is to sort through our paperwork. So here's my paperwork. I picked up these cars here and I set out these three. So I got to take the set outs. So 10027 is this guy right here. 10808 is the next one, and then the Begin SF one is over here, this guy. So those three have been set out, so I take them out of my train, put them in the box over here. And the other thing is I have to sort through the ones that I picked up. These are the ones that have the west indication on them, these 5. I picked all those up. And you can compare it against the numbers on the switch list to confirm that I picked up the right ones. 100661, 10061, and so forth. So they're going to go in the front of the train after the locomotive. So we've got juggling here, switch list, locomotive, new cars, rest of the train. Put it all together, clip it together, paperwork's done, good to go. Now there's nothing left to do with this train but put it into staging. Its work here is done. And that's it for CN 403. On to the next one. The next train is CP 976 that's going to come out of staging from Minnedosa and run around its train in Georgetown, then go to Winnipeg. So here are the train orders for CP 976, the switch list. Not much to do. Basically you come out at 7 o'clock and it has one car to set out NCIX 903 at the CP interchange. Now, as you can see, there is a pair of cars here in the siding, so that is going to complicate how it runs around. But we'll do our best. So, let's get her moving. See through the hole there in the distance, the train's going to come out. There it is. So all the switches are against them, so they're going to have to line those up. So the brakeman will have to get out, throw the switch, and secure it. And then he'll just walk on to the next one while the train comes forward. Throw that one, and then they come out on the main line. Now remember that it has to set out 903, which is this one here. Here's my finger. So it's a trailing point move, but we have to run around anyway, so that's okay. So we're basically going to pull this out on the main line, push it back onto the main, and then we'll sort things out. So at this point, the brakeman will line and probably lock that one. We're done with the Minnedosa sub, so we can definitely line and lock that one back so it's set for the siding. And then once he walks back, he can get back to the track and hop aboard the caboose as it goes by. Get the signal for backing up, and he'll hop aboard. Since this is set back in the days when you're allowed to hop on and off moving equipment. So here we're going to park it on the main line and then uncouple and run the engine around. We have to deal with the caboose too, of course. That's a good spot, and we'll uncouple here and run around. Alright, so now we carry on through here and drop our... Alright, so now we carry on through here and drop these grain cars back where they were. I can persuade them to let go. Come on. Here we go. And make sure that, yeah, we're still on the rails. The brakeman will put the manual brakes on, hand brakes on, so that they'll stay. And then we'll push through the switch, which is still lined for the siding, so we don't have to do anything there. Just go right through it. So we're on the main line. The switch is lined and locked for the main at both ends. We've charged the brake lines with air, and we're ready to go to Winnipeg. That interchange track is getting a little full. Hopefully a later train is going to take some cars out of it. It can hold 6 cars, so it's not so bad. Here's our train coming up into staging. Later on we'll shuffle the caboose and engine around so that it can take the train back to Minnedosa later on. The cars in the back, these 4 cars, the CP Multimark caboose and the rest of the cars there, the Dow and the rail box and the center beam flat, are the cars to go back to Minnedosa. That'll come later on in the day.